MCR family? A little quick MMA show for you guys. We're going to cover some of the UFC Antitrust hearing that's been going on today, and it's going to be a 3-day hearing. Obviously, yesterday, today, and tomorrow is the hearing till August. Get the exact dates for you. August 26th to the 28th is the hearing. We're right now August 27th is when we're filming this show. So for those that want to know, maybe sort of the timing of when this is going out, when more information might be coming out as well. I do know that Jason Cruz, Paul Gift, and John Nash are at the hearing right now as we speak. So more information could come out during the taping of this video. So strap in. It should be a fun one. If those are listening and have no idea what I'm talking about, check out Show Money's special edition UFC Antitrust expert hearings coverage on Bloody Elbow and also SoundCloud. The audio quality is not the greatest because they filmed it on location, or I should say they recorded it on vacation at the hearing. So again, not the greatest, but you do get great analysis from obviously three guys that were there and three guys that are experts in this field. If you want maybe more of a written sort of information or a written piece on it, Paul Gift wrote a piece for Forbes called UFC Lawsuit Hearing Day 1, Eventful Yet Uneventful. And John Nash put out a piece as well on Bloody Elbow saying fighter paid details revealed during Monday's UFC Antitrust hearing. And we're probably going to dive into some of those details, so to speak, in a second. But overall, the lawsuit seems like it's going pretty well for the plaintiffs, for the fighters, for guys that are being represented right now by John Fitch, Kyle Kingsbury, and from the sort of testimony of the people there at the hearing, to sort of use the pun for testimony, legal case. Paul Gibb, John Nash, and Jason Cruz all sort of echo that the plaintiffs had a good day overall, that the judge seemed to be a little bit on their side, that the request to keep certain information confidential and sealed was not successful. Certain obviously pay details came out in terms of wage revenue share, etc. Top Rank wanted to keep their sort of financial details under wraps as well. For those that are maybe thinking, I know most of our listeners at Mixed Combat Radio are predominantly boxing fans. Top Rank is involved in this lawsuit as well. Their financial details will come out, as well as Bellator. It's going to be quite interesting to see sort of all the fallout of just more information that confirms what the reporting has been. And that's probably a good thing that we know, is that based off, again, the John Nash piece, where we found out that the revenue split really wasn't that much. Overall, for pure UFC event revenue, 2001, 0% of the revenue was split. 2002, 0. 2003, 0. 2004, 24%. 2005, 13. 2006, 20. 2007, 25. 2008, 20. 2009, 21%. 2010, 22%. And then you see a drop-off in 2011 with the Fox deal, 18. And then if you sort of jump to the pay-per-view event revenue split, the drop-off is even more significant post the Fox deal, and actually even confirms even more of what we've sort of been told and what we've seen in reports years ago in terms of the wage revenue split. 2001, the pay-per-view split for the sort of revenue split between promoter and fighters was 41% in 2001. So interesting enough, obviously, for pure events like fight nights and stuff like that, 0% really of the revenue went towards fighters if you average it out. If you look at pay-per-views, it was 41%. It was a significant increase. And actually 41% still relatively low compared to top boxing events. But all the way to fast forward 2012, you're at 15%. Only 15% of the revenue from pay-per-views went towards the fighters. That is just insane. So again, the links to all these articles would be in the description below if you want to sort of get more in depth with the reporting. Because I'll be honest, look, some of the information in here I'm just not smart enough to talk about. to be quite honest. Paul Gift, John Nash, and Jason Cruz are all three great reporters, great journalists, and have been on this beat since day one. And I trust the reporting through and through, and sort of point out how difficult it is maybe to talk about some of these issues if you're not educated on it. Let me just read this excerpt from the Forbes article from Paul Gift, okay? If you quantitatively inclined, imagine a day discussing wage share, wage levels, numerators, denominators, regressions, left-hand slide variables, right-hand side variables, and the mysterious concept of fighter MRPs, marginal revenue products. I guarantee 99% of the people listening, including me, don't know what really most of that is. So, look, again, go to this reporting, go to the source of it, go towards the experts in the field, and that is Paul Gift, Jason Cruz, and John Nash. And again, all links of all these pieces, the podcast they just did, post the day one hearing, will all be below in the description if you want a little more in-depth piece. And again, overall thoughts, it seems like it was a good day one for the plaintiffs, for the fighter side. Let's see if that continues, and let's see sort of what the ramifications could be if some sort of ruling goes in effect on the fighter side in a class action antitrust lawsuit. And again, leave a comment down below with what you guys think. How do you think this lawsuit's going to end up? Also, how much do you guys know about this? Like, is this new to you guys' radar? If so, do some research. It's a fascinating topic, and again, one that I feel like I wish I could more accurately and adequately analyze for you, but that's really not my lane. That's their lane. That's Paul Gift, Jason Cruz, and John Nash. I'm going to leave it to the experts here. And again, leave a comment down below, hit the like button, share this video, and let me know what you guys think about the antitrust lawsuit going on with the UFC. I'm here to talk about a topic that went under the radar a little bit. It's regional MMA. It's Asian MMA. However, it's about PD regulation, and it's a really fascinating topic, and I'm hoping I can get Michael Fidel on the show at some point. I know Anthony had got him on for Share Talk, so maybe I can get to him through that lane of communication, because a fascinating topic. ONE Championship claimed early this year in January that there will be a testing program to commence this year through WADA. Interesting, because most WADA doesn't really test. They have the WADA code, but WADA aren't really a testing collection agency. And this was almost universally panned upon when this was released. Gary Tonin, Martin Nagin, and several others were put out that they've never heard of this. They don't think it's true. And a lot of people were very skeptical of this deal, or sort of program with ONE Championship and WADA. And then it was later reported in July, again, by Michael Fidel, that WADA distanced itself from ONE Championship claims. And they said that they are not involved with any sort of testing program with ONE Championship. And there was a very famous interaction. Will Chope, one of the coaches for several ONE Championship fighters, made a public post on Facebook, and then the president of ONE Championship, Chatri Cejudo himself, responded to Chope's Facebook post, writing, "Thank you for your post, Will. I actually agree with most of what you wrote. There are some errors, but I'm not here to create beef. Unfortunately, when ONE Championship started, blah, blah, blah." Basically made a bunch of excuses as to why there was no regulation and how they were the ones to go on and on to create regulation in Asian MMA. And then, however, despite all of this, they then went out to write a letter to Will Chope saying, if you don't take down this post, we will sue you. So, not really the greatest and most transparent relationship from ONE Championship. And again, just interesting that we have a situation where a promoter is pretending to have a PD program and none such exists. And to coincide with this, obviously, for those who don't know, the ONE Championship has this unique weight program, or weight cutting program, I should say, or weigh-in program, to probably put it more accurately. And it's come under significant criticism for being completely non-transparent, for making claims that are unsubstantiated. And on top of that, it's not third-party regulated. It's regulated by ONE Championship themselves. So, again, this was a story that came out, again, about over a month ago, but I wanted to sort of bring it back into the discussion. I wanted to sort of bring it to light because keep an eye out for how promoters maneuver PD regulation, how they sort of use it as a selling tool. Obviously, in light of the Dylan White case with UCAD and Eddie Hearn and such, that's another case of a promoter being the one talking about a PD regulation issue when they shouldn't be talking about the issue, and probably behind the scenes is it's just far different than how the promoter is portraying it, similar to ONE Championship's claims of a WADA program that doesn't exist, and also the legal aggression that they have against people that are speaking out against it, especially within the ONE Championship. Again, shout out to Michael Fidel for the great pieces there. Leave a comment down below with what you guys think about WADA's, or I should say, ONE Championship's alleged WADA program that seemingly doesn't exist, but they keep doubling down and saying it does. Again, links for these articles will be down below in the description if you want to read more in depth on these issues. Henry Cejudo has been out there doing Henry Cejudo-like things, the Triple C, cringe champion, all those other adjectives we could describe to Henry Cejudo. He's been out there in the media trying to sell himself. And, the intergender champion thing is pretty nauseating. However, I do understand what he's trying to do, but this latest video of him trying to call out for Dominic Cruz for a tune-up against brittle former champion Dominic Cruz, it's pretty cringeworthy. So let's watch this video and let me know what you guys think of it.
And Triple C went on to become rich and famous, and he became the greatest combat athlete of all time. The end. Oh my, man, what's that smell? TJ sharted again. Jesus. Anyways, kids, I've been thinking. Daddy's been having really tough fights lately. This last year and a half, he's fought Demetrius Johnson, the greatest of all time, beat him. TJ Dillashaw, the greatest bantamweight of all time, beat him. And also, we beat the killer in Marlon Moraes. Daddy wants an easy fight, kids. I want somebody that I could break. I want somebody brittle. I want somebody easy. In wrestling, we call them pud whackers, fish, or better yet, how about a tune-up fight? Dominic Cruz, I have a message for you. I don't know how you can say you're the best in the world when you're not even the best out of the state of Arizona. Dominic Cruz, you can do me a favor and you can bend the knee to Triple C too. And one last thing. Wash your filthy dog. So,
that happened. Yeah. Man. It's rough out here for these guys trying to promote themselves, it seems. But hey, it is what it is. First off, I don't like the matchup at all for obvious reasons. Dominic Cruz has been out for injury. You have guys like Aljamain Sterling, Peter Yan, Joseph Benavidez at 125. You have title contenders. Go fight your title contenders. Dominic Cruz can go fight, I don't know, anyone else right now. Frank Yeager. Someone else that makes sense for Dominic Cruz. Not Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo needs to be fighting one of the top guys that's on a winning streak. A la Peter Yan, a la Aljamain Sterling. Or drop back down to 125 and fight Joseph Benavidez in a rematch. Either or any of those three options are good for me, to be quite honest. If it's not one of those options, I'll be quite upset. If it's Uriah Faber, if it's Dominic Cruz, if it's Frank Yeager even, none of those are appealing to me. I get why he would want those because those are all three bigger fights, but None of those fights make any sense right now. So that's my thoughts on it. Leave a comment down below what you want Henry Cejudo to do next. Do you want him to fight Dominic Cruz, Uriah Faber, Frankie Edgar, or face a guy like Aljamain Sterling or Peter Yan or Joseph Benavidez at 125? And also, what do you think of the cringe Triple C gimmick that is Henry Cejudo at this point? Let me know also in the comment section down below. A little tiny preview edition of Mixed Combat Radio UFC Fight Night. Jessica Andrade versus Weili Zhang is this weekend in China. And while the rest of the card is really a regional MMA card, let's be honest, the main event's fantastic. The main event should be a barn burner. It should really be a tough man's fight in a way. Like, this would be a 115-pound version of like almost like Paulo Costa versus Yoel Romero, like two supreme athletes, devastating hitters, all around complete fighters in Andrade and Zhang. It should be fun to see. I think Andrade should win this one because she's just the superior striker overall. And I do think while Zhang has some really fantastic grappling and just her overall strength with her wrestling department is just unheard of. She bullied Tisha Torres around in a way that I think was truly unexpected. And Andrade should have some difficulty there, but Andrade is the stronger fighter here. I think she's the better athlete. And again, her striking's better. I think her grappling is a little bit better as well. She should win, but this should be a fun back-and-forth fight. I can see both people getting hurt here, both people getting bloodied up here. And it could end up being a slugfest at times as well. I'm really curious to see how this fight transpires, but it wouldn't be MCR if I wouldn't say, like, hey, look, this main event is fun, even though it didn't really make sense in the division. But it's a fun main event. The rest of the card is whatever, but at least they're putting a title fight on a fight night. However, this fight card is in China right now, and a couple things going on in China need to be at least addressed because this event will be used to sports wash some of these events in China. First off, obviously, is China putting minority Muslims in concentration camps, the U.S. says, per Reuters. And this has been an issue ongoing for some time with the Muslim Uyghur community being imprisoned, put in concentration camps and re-education camps in China. Massive issue there. Hong Kong, while not specifically China, there's some differences there. Hong Kong is going through some massive upheaval right now with huge protests happening due to the surveillance state that's currently is Hong Kong, and just insane scenes on the ground right now. If you have not seen, go research them. Obviously we have a UFC event coming up this weekend, but it feels like it's a drop in the bucket trying to say, hey, let's not talk about these issues going on right now in the country. In a very similar way to what is happening with Joshua and Ruiz in Saudi Arabia. But guys, let me know who you think wins the main event. Let me know, do you guys even care about this card? I know a lot of people have kind of been turned off by this event. No, not necessarily for these reasons I just stated with what's going on in China and Hong Kong. However, just with the card depth itself. So let me know in the comment section down below, who do you think wins the main event? Are you intrigued by this card at all? And if not, is it due to some of the current events happening in China and in Hong Kong right now? I'm Matt, the Hipster Hunter. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Peace.